Narrated by Muhammad bin Abdurrahman bin Nawfal al-Qurashi. I asked Urwa bin Az-Zubair, regarding the Hajj of the Prophet peace be upon him. Urwa replied, Aisha narrated, when the Prophet peace be upon him reached Mecca, the first thing he started with was the ablution, then he performed tawaf of the Kaaba and his intention was not Umrah alone, but Hajj and Umrah together. Later Abu Bakr I performed the Hajj and the first thing he started with was tawaf of the Kaaba and it was not Umrah alone, but Hajj and Umrah together. And then Umar did the same. Then Uthman performed the Hajj and the first thing he started with was tawaf of the Kaaba and it was not Umrah alone. And then Muawiyah and Abdullah bin Umar did the same. I performed Hajj with Ibn Az-Zubair and the first thing he started with was tawaf of the Kaaba and it was not Umrah alone, but Hajj and Umrah together. Then I saw the Muhajirin, emigrants, and Ansar doing the same and it was not Umrah alone. And the last person I saw doing the same was Ibn Umar, and he did not do another Umrah after finishing the first. Now here is Ibn Umar present amongst the people. They neither ask him nor any one of the previous ones. And all these people, on entering Mecca, would not start with anything unless they had performed tawaf of the Kaaba, and would not finish their ihram. And no doubt, I saw my mother and my aunt, on entering Mecca doing nothing before performing tawaf of the Kaaba, and they would not finish their ihram. And my mother informed me that she, her sister, Az-Zubair and such persons had assumed ihram for Umrah and after passing their hands over the corner, the black stone, finishing their Umrah, they finished their ihram. Narrated by Urwa. I asked Aisha, how do you interpret the statement of Allah, verily? The mountains, as Safa and Al-Marwa are among the symbols of Allah, and whoever performs the Hajj to the Kaaba or performs Umrah, it is not harmful for him to perform tawaf between them, Safa and Marwa. Surah 2 verse 158. By Allah. It is evident from this revelation, there is no harm if one does not perform tawaf between Safa and Marwa. Aisha said, O my nephew, your interpretation is not true. Had this interpretation of yours been correct, the statement of Allah should have been, it is not harmful for him if he does not perform tawaf between them. But in fact, this divine inspiration was revealed concerning the Ansar who used to assume ihram for worshipping an idol called Manat which they used to worship at a place called Al-Mishalal before they embraced Islam, and whoever assumed ihram, for the idol, would consider it not right to perform tawaf between Safa and Marwa. When they embraced Islam, they asked Allah's Messenger peace be upon him regarding it, saying, O Allah's Apostle, we used to refrain from tawaf between Safa and Marwa. So Allah revealed, verily, the mountains, as Safa and Al-Marwa are among the symbols of Allah. Aisha added, surely, Allah's Apostle set the tradition of tawaf between Safa and Marwa, so nobody is allowed to omit the tawaf between them. Later on Urwa, told Abu Bakr bin Abdurrahman, of Aisha's narration, and he said, I have not heard of such information, but I heard learned men saying that all the people, except those whom Aisha mentioned and who used to assume ihram for the sake of Manat, used to perform tawaf between Safa and Marwa. When Allah referred to the tawaf of the Kaaba and did not mention Safa and Marwa in the Quran, the people asked, O Allah's Messenger peace be upon him. We used to perform tawaf between Safa and Marwa and Allah has revealed, the verses concerning, tawaf of the Kaaba and has not mentioned Safa and Marwa. Is there any harm if we perform tawaf between Safa and Marwa? So Allah revealed, verily as Safa and Al-Marwa are among the symbols of Allah. Abu Bakr said, it seems that this verse was revealed concerning the two groups, those who used to refrain from tawaf between Safa and Marwa in the pre-Islamic period of ignorance and those who used to perform the tawaf then, and after embracing Islam they refrained from the tawaf between them, as Allah had enjoined tawaf of the Kaaba and did not mention tawaf of Safa and Marwa, till later after mentioning the tawaf of the Kaaba. Narrated by Nafi. Ibn Umar said, when Allah's Messenger peace be upon him performed the first tawaf, he did ramal in the first 3 rounds and then walked in the remaining 4 rounds of tawaf of the Kaaba, whereas in performing tawaf between Safa and Marwa he used to run in the midst of the rainwater passage. I asked Nafi, did Abdullah bin Umar used to walk steadily on reaching the Yemenite corner? He replied, no, unless people were crowded at the corner, otherwise he would not leave it without touching it. Narrated by Amr bin Dinar. We asked Ibn Umar whether a man who, while performing Umrah, had performed tawaf of the Kaaba, and had not yet performed tawaf between Safa and Marwa, could have sexual relation with his wife. Ibn Umar replied, the Prophet peace be upon him reached Mecca and performed the 7 rounds of tawaf of the Kaaba and then offered a 2-rakat prayer behind Maqam Ibrahim and then performed the 7 rounds of tawaf between Safa and Marwa. He added, verily, in Allah's Messenger peace be upon him you have a good example. We asked Jabir bin Abdullah the same question, and he said, that man, should not come near his wife till he has completed tawaf between Safa and Marwa.